In today's Leeds news, VAR panel backed Leeds United, uncertain times for Harry Gray, Calvert-Lewin backed to keep Leeds up, Fiorentina interest in Gnonto, and 3 summer priorities for Leeds United. Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View for Wednesday the 18th of March with your Leeds United news. Hope your week is going really well so far. We had the podcast that was out on Monday night. Have a look at the weekend's action. We'll have another one out tomorrow night, not tonight. We're going to have a chat with Benjamin Bloom around what's going on in the Championship, what it will look like if Leeds were to go down next season, or if we stay up, what it's going to look like, what teams are pushing to come up on the quad that they have heading into next season. So that will be out tomorrow night. Outside that, we got a fair amount of stuff to get stuck into today. Some of it's good news, some of it's not so good news, but again, we'll see how we go. You can like, share and comment on this video or audio if you want it as well, which helps out the channel. But we'll start off today with the VAR panel on a non-surprising issue related to Leeds United. Yeah, it's absolutely nobody's surprise, and this is very minor consolation for everybody. But the Premier League's key match incidents panel have found that Leeds United should have been awarded a penalty against Sunderland after Luke O'Nien grabbed Pascal Struijk around the neck and dragged him to the ground. It does absolutely nothing for Leeds United's points tally for the season. It does nothing to help the mood around the camp, but it does go to show again the poor officiating both on the field and off the field this season when it comes to Premier League. And it is going to be a major talking point coming into this summer, how far the officiating standard has dropped over the course of the last 2 years. The panel in this situation voted unanimously that Leeds United should have been awarded a penalty and that the referee and the VAR both got the decision wrong on the night. They pointed to the fact that Luke O'Nien wasn't looking at the ball, had 2 hands around Pascal Struijk's neck in a non-footballing manner and dragged him to the ground. Daniel Farke described the incident at the time as crazy, and that was on the back of the fact that there was the penalty call against Manchester City. It wasn't given for Leeds. Some of us didn't believe it probably should have been given, but then the following week we saw an identical situation given as a penalty. He then followed that up with the situation on the field with Gabby Goodmunson against Crystal Palace at the weekend. Now, the only thing with this is maybe because all of these talking points are now very public, maybe the decisions start to swing back in Leeds United's favours, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Let's move on. Harry Gray was brought to Rotherham by manager Matt Hamshaw, who spoke very highly about Harry Gray, his development and the impact that he was having at the club since he arrived. But Harry now faces into a little bit of a period of uncertainty. Gray has picked up a hamstring injury and will be out of action for at least 1 week. It's not described as a major issue, but he now also has to deal with the fact that the manager who brought him in has just been sacked by the club. Rotherham are in real danger of dropping out of League One. They're currently in the relegation zone and 6 points away from safety. And they decided to roll the dice one more time to try and fix their issues. Gray will miss their trip to Lincoln City, who are under former Leeds United coach and caretaker manager Michael Scubala, who's doing a terrific job there, has them top of League One and 5 points clear. It now means that Gray goes into a period of uncertainty, not just around the injury situation, but also about the new man that will come in and replace Hamshaw. How will they utilise him? What will they think of him? And what kind of game time will he be looking at between now and the end of the season? It's something that players have to get used to. He probably used to it enough at underage level, but now he's got to get used to it here as well and see how it goes. But he did seem to have a fairly good relationship with Hamshaw, and he was very positive about his development during that time. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks for Harry Gray, but the main thing here is to focus on the injury and getting over that hamstring knock and getting back on the pitch. We'll move on. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is experiencing his first real lean spell in terms of goals since arriving at Leeds United, and it's not all necessarily down to him. Supply is a major factor for any old school number 9, of which Dominic Calvert-Lewin ticks quite a lot of those boxes, but he's probably picked the worst time of the year for himself from a World Cup call-up perspective, as well as from Leeds' perspective, to run into the Premier League season and needing to have him firing on all cylinders. But outside of his goal contributions, Calvert-Lewin's hold-up play, his aerial ability, have been huge assets to Leeds United this season, and it's still massively important for how Leeds play in the running. But a few goals at this point wouldn't go amiss and would definitely take the nerves away from quite an awful lot of us at this moment in time. But former Leeds United number 10 captain and manager Gary McAllister believes that Dominic Calvert-Lewin has all of the attributes to get Leeds to safety, pointed to his history at Everton and his start to this season, having all the main things that Leeds will need to be safe this season and can get the goals that will keep Leeds in the Premier League. And he said this: "I put my hands up, I'm someone who really likes Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Those couple of seasons that he had at Everton, he was always in and around the England squad. He's a proper handful leading the line and getting goals. When I look at players like Morgan Gibbs-White and Elliot Anderson, those guys who can have real influence staying in this division, Calvert-Lewin is one of those. If Leeds players can get decent service into the box, he's one that can get them goals, and that will keep them safe at Elland Road. Supply is a massive part of this. Again, McAllister leaning in on that, and that is a huge factor in this. Leeds United have reverted back to a more possession-heavy style of play in recent months, and it's a move away from the more direct style that was giving Calvert-Lewin those types of opportunities to score the goals that he did during that really strong run of the season. And that's something that will need to be addressed going into this weekend's game against Brentford. Leeds will need to start putting more attacking players around Calvert-Lewin. They will need to try and get more balls into the box from deeper areas and try and get some more cutbacks into areas where he can do damage. The Palace game was DCL's statistically worst game in terms of duels won over the course of this season. You wonder, was some of that down to the fact that he went into that game with a bit of a knee issue? It doesn't match up against any of the games that he's played this season in terms of aerial duels being won. And you wonder, is it just a little factor in the back of his head? You hope that there's nothing major there and he is okay and good to go for the remainder of the games this season. But Calvert-Lewin has also had his say on his lean spell this season and his current run, and he said that he's got absolutely nothing to prove and has backed himself to start finding the net again very soon. He said this: "It's hard to go through a whole season scoring goals in every game. It's rarely done by players who aren't playing in the top 2 or 3 teams. I also know that when my chances come, I have to be clinical. I have to take them. And in that winter run, I was extremely clinical. And then it's followed by a more difficult patch where chances are fewer and far between. And you still have to continue to play with the same belief that you're going to go on another run and the next chance is going to go in. It's part of the mental task when you're a number 9. And he's dead right. As long as he still has the fitness, as long as he still has the ability, as long as he still has the confidence in himself to take those chances when they come, that is the most important factor in this. It's when he starts to doubt himself or question his ability, that's when we should all get a little bit more worried. But he does have everything that we know we need from him. Strikers go on streaks. We know that from Patrick Bamford and other strikers we've had in the past. So fingers crossed he's about to come into a very busy spell over the next couple of weeks. But let's move on. Jack Harrison's loan of Fiorentina is going a bit off the rails right now, but apparently Fiorentina are keen on another Leeds United wide man. Reports in Italy over the past couple of weeks said that Fiorentina seem very unlikely to pick up the option to sign Jack Harrison, but another report yesterday says that Fiorentina are very interested in bringing in another Leeds United winger, and that one's Willie Gnonto. Gnonto is one of several players who could leave Leeds United in this summer, but every single aspect of this report relies on 2 main factors. 1, Leeds United staying in the Premier League and looking to upgrade the squad, and 2, Fiorentina staying in Serie A and being able to afford to buy any type of player. Right now, Fiorentina are 4 points clear of the drop zone. Leeds United are 3 points clear of the drop zone. So right now, everyone's where they need to be. And we'll see if that ends up being the case come the end of the season. But according to a report in Italy, Fiorentina will try and tempt Willie Gnonto to come back to Italy and sign for them this summer as they look to rebuild their squad heading into a new campaign next year. But Gnonto himself might also be keen on a fresh start due to his lack of minutes this season. Fiorentina Uno say that the Serie A club are aware of Gnonto's current squad status with Leeds United and did have interest in him in January. At that point, Leeds United weren't so keen on Gnonto moving on. Fiorentina got Jack Harrison instead. That's working out the way it's working out. But this report does say that they will look to revisit this come the summer and try and bring Willie Gnonto into the club. It'll be another summer of speculation around Willie Gnonto and what he does. He's not getting a huge amount of minutes at Leeds. He's a young player. You want to play football as much as he can. He does have time to develop still at Leeds and continue to grow, but some of it is down to the formation Leeds United are playing right now. Do we need wide players, wingers? Daniel Farke decides to go back to more wing-based play. Maybe Gnonto's important to Leeds down the road. But as I say, it'll be another summer of speculation. But let's continue to talk about some speculation and Leeds' priorities for this summer upcoming window. We've been keeping tabs of the players that Leeds United have been linked with since the January transfer window closed. And some of that is down to the fact that 49ers Enterprises say that they like to get their transfer targets lined up at least 6 months in advance. Also gives us the chance to see which of the reports are credible, which are not credible, and more importantly, is there the formation of a bit of a shortlist or what priority positions are Leeds looking at? But we're not the only ones doing this, and there has been a fresh report today that's doing some of the heavy lifting on this and has identified club sources saying that Leeds are looking at 3 priority positions coming into the summer transfer window should we stay in the Premier League. I have to keep saying that caveat until we're confirmed. So yeah, pinch of salt territory with this when it says club sources. But as you can guess, Leeds United will look for another number 9. Nobody should be surprised at that after the fact that Leeds tried to sign Jurgen Strand Larsen during the January transfer window. But Leeds are said to want competition for Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lucas Meche. And another more direct number 9 is somebody Leeds United are said to be keeping an eye on. Leeds are also said to be interested in bringing in another left back. They want competition and cover for Gabriel Goodmunson. It is an area that Leeds are naturally shy a little bit of talent there. James Justin can do a very good job over there, but he is right-footed and doesn't give Leeds exactly what they want in that position. The main target and the interesting one here is Leeds apparently will look for a creative number 10 this summer, and that's something we've been missing for quite a while. Yes, we did have Jorginho Rutter in the Championship, but I think we're talking about the Pablo Hernandez mould, and I know everybody would like Pablo Hernandez in their side. That's why they're so good, because they're so rare. In that 10 position, Leeds have been linked with a few players already. They've been linked with Edward Spertjan, they've been linked with Yassine Tratraoui, and they've also been linked with Pavel Suk since the January transfer window closed. Spertjan is obviously, look, personal preference, you know my take on that one, but that looks like it's going to be an incredibly hard one to do. Leeds have reportedly had 2 cracks at trying to sign Spertjan and failed to do so, so that's going to be a tough one to get done. But Leeds want competition at left back, Leeds want competition up top, and they want to add some individual quality across the park in that number 10 position. And Daniel Farke has talked about this already this season. He spoke about how Leeds have a very strong team unit, but sometimes lack the individual quality to win certain types of games. When you look at Nottingham Forest with Gibbs White and Elliot Anderson, who've been mentioned today already, they are the kind of players that have individual quality that can win you a game. You look at West Ham United with Jared Bowen and McCree Somerville, and they've got that as well. Leeds probably lacking that a little bit. But if the likes of Calvert-Lewin, whatever striker they look to bring in, Lucas Meche, service is really important, and trying to get somebody who's creative and can give us that little extra edge will be interesting to see as well. There have been other players linked during the January transfer window in that 10 position as well, but that is for me a massively important position that Leeds will need to get sorted this summer. Again, if we stay in the Premier League, I know everyone's sick of me saying it, but until we are in the Premier League, guaranteed next season, I'm going to keep saying it. Anyway, folks, that'll be it for me today. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.